Welcome back to the Talking Cleary Podcast. This is episode 6, mate. We've done it 6 episodes. Blaze Lungy's number. I'm Mitch. This is Flaxxy. How are we doing?
Mate, pretty good. We're still undefeated with the girls now winning.
Oh, how good.
Mate, how good are we? We're the good luck charm
We've
of
done
the Panthers.
but we've supported the club, mate. Unlike you, Sport Para, we supported the club.
I support the club, mate.
No,
Mate,
you did a great job supporting the women. I'm fucking proud of you, mate. Well
I
done.
appreciate it. Nah, the girls did absolutely great. And, mate, we got the first win, as I said. Stay undefeated. First inaugural win in our first inaugural game. So, mate, only up from here. More to come. Very excited to see. But, yeah, how good
Very
is
nice.
Rugby League? 2 points. The Roosters lost, so we stayed in 6. We stayed in 6 spots. So, if the Bulldogs did their job, we would have been 5th.
They did their job. Be frauds. Anyway, how was your week? Anyway, how was the week off?
Mate, well,
Bit more relaxing, or are you still stressed out?
Mate, still stressed out, obviously. There was the women's game.
But your other club, Para, the bye too.
Mate.
Oh, you would have been rattled, actually, the Dogs losing, because they're your other club.
Oh, mate. I'll never get a break off this, will I? Like, far out. Nah, I had a pretty good week, relaxing week. We just worked as usual. But yeah, just watched the women play. We did great in that game. We'll talk about it a bit later on. But other than that, yeah, pretty standard week. Nothing to worry about. We checked the top 8, and the Panthers are still there. So that's all that matters to me. Order restored. Business as usual.
Business as usual.
So, yeah, what about you? How was your week? What did you get up to?
No, it was all right, mate. Celebrated my sister's 30th birthday on the weekend, so happy birthday to Brooke. But, yeah, that's about it, mate. Nothing too special. Just, chilled out, not having to worry about getting nervous over a football game because my club had the bye.
My club also had the bye.
Yeah, barrel. Anyway, mate, you've got some fan mail for us. So you're up. Own the segment. Give me some mail.
Mate, so...
Thank you, everyone who wrote in questions too.
Mate, keep asking questions. We'll keep answering them on the podcast. We love all your questions.
I have told him he's got to put them up earlier than 15 minutes before the podcast next time.
Yeah,
so,
but you guys are just so good, you get them in time. So, yeah, all right, first question. When will this is going to be somewhat centric to the women's, but when will Penrith introduce a WNRL team or NRLW team to...
I'd assume they've been introducing new teams. Follow the money, right? So I think while the game grows, it's obviously a financial thing. Like, I wouldn't say the women's game probably is making a whole lot of money for the NRL at the moment, but it will, and that's the way you sort of grow it. I think, once there's obviously the grassroots and different things are being put in place at the moment across the whole league, but also in Penrith. So I'd assume the next time they introduce new teams, which I'm assuming is in 2 years' time, because that's the way they've kind of been doing it overall, I assume we'll be in that next little block. I
think so too. I think it will kind of work out to when Penrith get their new stadium. So at some point in the middle of the NRL year, we're meant to get our stadium back in 27. I believe 27 to 28. It's 2. I think it's 2 years, but we'll get our new stadium, and I think what they'll do is they will get the men's game and the women's game at some point, and they'll have maybe the Jersey Flag game and the New South Wales Cup. But it could be the way to bring back the fans to Penrith.
I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll relaunch. I think they'll launch a stadium with the men playing.
They'll do that because the men's season starts in March and the women's season starts. Well, it started this week. So, but I think this time in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, whenever we get our stadium, I think that's the year they bring the Panthers in, because they're not sending them up to play at CommBank. They're setting them up to play in their stadium, and it's their home that they can have. And I think a great way to sort of introduce them would be a game for them to play and into the men's game. I think that would be really cool.
I've got a good idea for you.
Shoot.
I know that you've followed and have had follow you a few of the NRL, the Harvey Norman women's players. Why don't you reach out and find out?
I could do that.
For that very loyal, I think it's Joseph, his name was, the very loyal follower who put in that question. Why don't you reach out, find out, and we'll answer it next week on the blog.
We could do that. As I said, we'll get into the sort of women's segment very shortly. But for me, I think that could be a question I could ask one of the girls maybe next week. So,
Perfect. Well done.
Mate, get me on the tools. Get me on the tools.
Look how organised you're
becoming.
Mate,
this guy.
Go on. What's the next question?
All right, next question. If Cleary and Tor were to miss out on a few games, obviously they're tall more so are carrying. They're not 100%. I don't know what injuries they're carrying. I think Toll's carrying an LCL. Cleary's having a few niggles here and there. If they were to miss out in the next few games, especially in the softer part of the draw for us, how do you think that would affect us? Do you think there are games that we could potentially drop, that we can't afford to? Not that we can't afford to, but like we shouldn't be.
I think we can't afford to. Like, I think every game is more and more important now. Like, any game we dropped, is super important. I think, obviously Nathan's still not 100% because they announced today Lomax was goal kicking, I believe, in Origin. Again. Which is concerning.
Mate.
But, and obviously Biz is still carrying it. So who knows if they back up? I hope they do, obviously, and you probably hope they don't because you support Para. But it'll be interesting. Like, I think it's important that they play, and I think it is important for the club that we continue to just stack these habits and stack these wins through this little period because, the run home is obviously tough for us. But this little period now where we sort of have 4 or 5 games that we should win are crucial because if you drop some of these, then, you put yourself well behind the 8 ball.
With them carrying these injuries, do you, like, for me, I prefer if Bizza didn't play Origin. They got Karaz as 18th man. I would prefer a Penrith.
So you, the person who has been the best player across both games, in my opinion.
He's been the best player, and we can both agree on that. We both agreed on this.
And so does that mean you're a Queensland supporter?
Oh my God, bro. No. I'm just saying, in terms, as a Penrith fan, I'm looking at this.
Are you a cane toad?
That's such an... Call me a Queensland's one thing. Call me a fucking cane toad of all things.
Mate, if the shoe fits.
Brother, mate, the shoe does not fit. I tell you that for 100,000.
You'll be a Broncos fan next week.
I will stab... You're worried about a Bulldogs fan stabbing you.
No.
Mate, don't you dare. This guy with his rage bait, I can never get away from it. He's a professional rage baiter, this guy.
Undefeated.
But, mate, I tell you, as a Penrith Panther loyal fan...
What about New South Wales Blue?
I was born in Penrith, bro. I'm telling you.
But what about New South Wales Blue?
As a Blues fan, I want the healthiest player out there. Karaz is good enough to do the job. Now, Ryan Toll, yes, he's been the best player. He's also, I think, the most active capped Blues player.
So you want to drop the greatest winger to ever play the game for someone who's unproven?
Who's not 100%?
For someone who's unproven at that level?
Maybe can be considered unproven at the level, but if he's being picked into the squad, I think he's good enough.
I'm not saying he's not good enough, but I'm saying that Brian Toto is the best winger ever. If he says he's good to go, you give him his 6 Diet Cokes, you give him his 2 bacon and egg rolls, you give him his bowl of chips, give him his caramel fucking latte and get him out there. Give him extra sugar.
Brian Toto could have one leg and say he's ready to go. He will battle through 100%. And I know he does.
He'll probably win the Wally Lewis medal.
He would probably do that. But he should win that.
I don't understand your point.
I think at 100%, if as a Panthers fan, I would rather him rest because I'd rather him be more healthy when he's playing for games for Penrith. And as a Blues fan, I'd rather get the person that is 100% than risk. Remember, who was it? Tommy Turbo got injured and we put Damien Cook in the centres. Do you remember that? Do you remember how hated every decision of that was? We have the chance.
I don't get how that's relevant at all.
How is it not relevant? Because Tommy Turbo wasn't 100% healthy. Neither is Brian Toll. We've both agreed on that. So why not before the game starts? Okay, let's look at it back. Let's get someone that's 100% in. And as a Panthers fan, I would incline to agree with that because then if he's resting, there's less chance he gets injured, the more chance he gets to play more games.
Are you coming at this from a Penrith fan's point of view or a New South Wales fan's point of view? So do you think Bizza is not good enough to be in our starting 17? Is that what you're saying? At his current fitness?
I'm saying this as a Penrith fan. I'm saying
a hater if that's the case.
I'm saying it as a Penrith fan. I'm saying this as
you just want him to play on Saturday against your other team as opposed to playing on Wednesday.
I wouldn't mind him if he plays on Wednesday. Yeah, Sunday. Get her up, mate.
Who cares? I'll watch the 22 grand final on Saturday so that I actually watch both.
Look.
There you go.
Nah, as a Penrith fan, I just think, okay, The healthier he is for a club, the better it is for us. But as a Blues fan, I love Brian To'o. He's my favourite player in the NRL. But I don't want to see him get hurt. I'm concerned for him. It's not, I don't want him not to play. I want him to play, but I want him to also be healthy. Because if he goes out and gets hurt, that's going to make me more sad. Because then he's gotten hurt.
Okay, so you also think, so from your thing, Dylan's obviously has been carrying something all year. I think he should rest too. Nathan, he's a bit, how about Nathan?
We discussed this.
Yowie. I'm sure Yoey's got some sort of injury. You just rest Yoey.
Mate,
Liam Martin.
Who's the player you've been talking about? Isaiah Katoa getting in.
You think he's better than Nathan? Bro,
I don't think he's Nathan.
Have a spell.
Wow. Oh my God.
Have a spell,
mate.
What are you talking about?
I'm not saying.
So you think Nathan at his current fitness, Isaiah Katoa is better than?
That's not what I said.
You're
putting words in my mouth there. Nah, I think you're talking. You look at this guy's fucking smile.
Absolute nonsense.
Mate, no, let's just skip.
No. This is absolute dribble. I'm sorry for everyone who just wasted 10 minutes of your life because this bloke has just talked around in circles about nothing for 10 minutes.
No, it's because you're trying to rage bait me into saying.
I'm not rage baiting anything.
Yes, you are.
You're like Brian To'o is the greatest winger ever.
You know what you said? We have it on camera. You go.
Yeah. Brian To'o is the greatest winger ever. If he's fit enough to play, if he said he's good enough to play, as I said, you give him that horrendous meal he eats in the morning, and you say get out there and win us. You win a Wally Lewis medal and win us.
I want him to play. I just don't want him to get hurt.
And then Bizza, you back up on Saturday and you beat Para on a Sunday night game. Absolute poo slinger. Who cares? We're good. Give us your next question.
I just don't want to get hurt.
Stop talking nonsense.
And on State of Origin, do you think...
Will Brian To'o be fit enough to play?
Mate, you sounded like Buzz Rothfield there.
Hurry up.
Do you think that players that play in the State of Origin game deserve to get Dally M points in those games?
Great question, whoever sent that in.
I think yes. Because they're missing a game of regular season. Why not give these players an opportunity to earn points? Because you get players like Nathan Cleary, like Brian To'o, who missed 3 games of Dally M points. What's that? 18 points. Why not let him try earn them in the State of Origin game?
Great point. I think potentially. So you think if it's just the same points?
Yeah, same points. Because that just gives another...
Yeah, I think they need to do something. They need to rework the award in some way, shape or form because it's kind of nonsense at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously they doubled the points from in the last couple of years to what it was previously. But yeah, I think there needs to be some sort of overhaul because, the best player... I think even in the Super League maybe or in one of the... In a comp somewhere, they do a rating system out of 10. So it's whoever the highest average is. Or you could literally have, like the NBA do for the MVP award, you could have the media counts for a certain amount of votes, the players vote for a certain amount, and the fans count for a certain amount. But then we'd end up having Drew Hutchison winning Player of the Year or something because the Dogs would just vote for some random, because that's the loudest fan base. So I don't know. That's great point, great question. I don't know the answer, but there is definitely. I think the award needs reworking because realistically, the best player over the last 5 years, I think it's undisputed, has been Nathan Cleary, and he hasn't won a Daily M.
Yeah, he's. I believe he's been robbed of it, and obviously he's had his injuries throughout the past few years. But this year he's been healthy, but then he's missing 3 games where he could have easily gotten the 6 points each game.
Yeah, and Bizza should just rest. You're right. Anyway, that's your fan mail. Great job, mate. Thank you for everyone who put in those questions. Please keep sending them out. We appreciate it. We didn't touch on it at the top, but thank you for everyone who supported and watched the podcast last week. I think last week was our most watched episode, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And don't hesitate to ask the questions in the comments as well. If you have any questions,
follow our Instagram page to Talking Cleary Pod.
Talking Cleary Pod. I'll shout it out on all the socials. Put them in the description down below. But yeah, we got a new. Our logo looks nice. We got a new.
Jeez, we got upgrades,
mate. We
went from 4s to 5s, I think.
Oh, mate. We 5s out of 5s? Is that what you're saying?
Out of 100.
No.
Mate, the Flaxxy's Harvey Norman women's review. Take us away.
Mate,
Blow our socks off.
Mate, these girls absolutely had a belter of a game. They were ready.
It was their inaugural game.
It was the inaugural game, yeah. So this was the first game of the Penrith Panthers in this comp. So for people that don't know, this is pretty much like the New South Wales Cup, knock-on effect cup, or the Q Cup for the women's. So Penrith got introduced this year. We won both our trials matches, which were incredible. These guys have been working really, really hard. Came out this weekend and absolutely killed it. You know, they showed... I don't think we were favourites to win that match, and these girls showed a lot of heart, and, mate, they showed a lot of effort, and that's what you want to see. Winning's great, but it's the effort you want to see.
Just touch on, we did win.
We did win. We had a great game, so we did win.
You're making it out like we got beat.
No. We
they
did
tried
win.
hard.
No, but what you want to see when you're watching a game of rugby league, it doesn't. If you win, but the team hasn't put enough effort in, it's better. I would say. Obviously, it's great to have a win, but it's great when people put the effort in. I would prefer a team that is putting 100% or 110% effort in and might lose by 6 points than a team that puts 20% effort in and wins. I prefer, because then you're growing as a team. And these girls did just that. They absolutely killed it. They won the game. Shout out to a few key players. Giselle scored the first inaugural try for the Penrith Panthers, so that's awesome. That's something you'll hold on to for the rest of your career.
What position did she play?
She plays hooker. So she was really, really good. Scored the try out of hooker. Was really awesome. Shout out to Brooke Wilkins. She plays fullback. 2 massive try savers. Like these would rival Dylan Edwards' try savers. Like these were really, really good.
Wow. Even rival Scotty Sattler?
Mate, like that.
Who'd you support back then?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But no, she had an absolute belter of a game, and I put her as my woman of the match or player of the match. She didn't score a try, but she was very close multiple times and deserved it. Like
awesome.
She played really awesome.
Well done.
And then our captain and co-captain, Kahu Cassidy, Abby Grant, both of them just on the field. Positions, I believe it's 7 and 13. I'm just going to double check that. I do have it here. No, sorry, it's 11 and 13. So cool. Abby Grant is second row and Kahu Cassidy is lock. Both, you could just see them working hard, like getting the players together, especially when I think Rooster scored the first try. The girls, keeping the girls up, keeping them energized, keeping them wanting and the hunger there. So shout out to all these girls. They had a really good game. Their next game is against the Rabbitohs at the Blacktown Sports and Technology Hub at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Go out there and support these girls, man. Like, this is going to be the future of the club. These are the girls that are going to be in the NRLW at some point in their career, maybe in 2 years when we get our new stadium, whenever the Panthers get introduced there. These girls had a great game. And shout out to the coach, Karen, as well. She absolutely killed it, at getting these girls prepared for these games. And I'm so keen. I'm so keen to see what comes out of this, because the girls, a lot of people would have put a doubt on them being the newcomers in the, you have the Dolphins, there's a lot of doubt there. And these girls just proved a lot of people wrong. And, they've put their foot on the ground. And as I said, currently undefeated. So, hopefully they stay that way. They got the Rabbits, as I said, next Sunday. I'm going to try be there if I can.
Awesome.
But, yeah. No, shout out to these girls. Well-deserved win. And, yeah, get out there and support them next week.
Nice, mate. Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. Mate, off the back of that, we'll just do a quick round review. To be honest, I obviously wasn't very Penrith-centric this week. I probably wanted more to talk about the Try July celebrations.
Mate.
So, was there many from the Dogs-Broncos game? You had a bit to say about this?
Mate, I think there would have been one.
Who was it?
And I think, what was it, Montello Montoya?
I think Montoya did one. I can't really remember.
Marcelo Montoya. I think he did one.
You trying to shut that out of your memory?
There was 6 tries in that game. That's, mind you, $30,000, $5,000 gets donated to charity every time you do a try celebration. These women, shout out to them. In the NRLW, they were doing tries every time. They were doing try celebrations every time. They were doing a lot of celebrations in their games and group ones. Those iconic ones like the Raiders where they throw the ball and they did the stumping thing. Or these girls were doing team celebrations, and I love to see that. I love to see the creativity coming out of them.
Can you tell me what was your favourite from the week?
Favourite from the week? I have to give it to Tommy Turbo for
absolutely
for respecting that Liverpool player that did respecting that Liverpool player that did unfortunately pass away.
Joseph's just looked up what charity it goes to. The Australian Skin,
I think it's a skin cancer one.
Australian Skin Cancer Foundation and Player Hardship Fund. So, definitely encourage the players when you're scoring tries.
So my favourite July celebration was the Tommy Turbo one. Obviously, for those that don't know, Liverpool player Diogo, I think his name is, passed away. 28 years old, man, like so young. Like you're older than him. Like that's insane.
Catching strays, but yeah,
mate,
keep going.
But yeah, like he, you just don't know when. Something terrible, your time's up. So, take every day, don't take any day for granted. And, shout out to Tommy Turbo for giving respect. I know mine was a bit more on the sentimental side, but what was your favourite Try July celebration?
To be honest, my favourite was Nick Meaney. A little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, lighthearted. That was funny.
His second try with the Thai kid dancing on the front of the boat like that. I've ended up watching that on TikTok about 400 times.
That blew up on TikTok. It had like 250,000 likes. Like it was insane.
That's crazy. And my favorite NRLW one would have it was actually a try that was disallowed, but it was Indy Bostock doing the Jack Bostock on 1, 2, 3. She did that when she scored with the try, got disallowed. So just trying to think what other ones there was.
There was the one, I don't know what who she was, but
you would have liked Tegan Berry blowing you a kiss through the camera, wouldn't you?
Oh, funny. The milking the cow one, that's the one. That was a pretty funny one for the Canberra Raiders women's team. But yeah, that's what I want. I made a video and I got a bit of backlash, and I was just saying how, like, it was in the obviously first game of the round, but the women's did it in the first game of the round. So like in my mind, I was like, okay, if the women are doing, surely the men are going to do it. The men didn't do it, and that people were like, "Oh, it's a high intensity game." I was like, "So was the women's." The men's one, it was 18-0 at one point. Surely when you score a try to make it 16-0, you do a try celebration, and they were just, I was a bit disappointed. I made a video, people backlashed me, and then pretty much all weekend long, the men's actually started doing try celebrations, and people going, you just had to wait." But yeah, it's money to charity. $5,000, just do a celebration, man. Tommy Turbo can do this. He also does like the small ones, but you don't have to do a big one. I like the big ones because I think they're more iconic and it makes Try July just greater.
Did you see? I think her name's Zali Hopkins. She's a gun player, plays hooker for the Dragons in the women's, and she did the Piggy Riddell celebration where she jumped the fence and started clapping. Did you see that?
I did see that.
That was cracker. That was awesome.
So yeah, stuff like that. Just do icon like Nick Meaney. That's iconic. Like everyone goes, "Oh, that was the best one."
Yeah,
that was the best one all round. So hopefully, the players come out this time. I want the Panther boys to do it.
So I was going to ask you, who do you think's got a funny one in them from the Panthers?
See, Brian. I'd say Brian. Brian has the best. And don't you dare go, "Oh, but you want to rest him."
Yeah,
no.
Isn't he resting?
Brian always comes out with the best ones. Him with Liam Martin doing this one, the greatest one. I would say him. Who else? I don't know. I think maybe Blaze would have a funny one up his sleeve. Cleary would always if Cleary scores in this month, watch him do that's one I think he does because that's one he has done in the past. But yeah, Panthers boys, I actually see them tomorrow. I'm going to their training session tomorrow. I'm gonna tell them do Try July celebrations. And I'll be. I'll tell MK to do one.
Think of some and go at them Google Premier League goal celebrations, iconic celebrations,
and I'll see if they can get my one.
Just go to the boys and give them a few ideas.
Like, boys.
You're, with your Ultimate membership, you're going to the training tomorrow.
Correct.
So I reckon, do some research before it, do some preparation, like I tell you,
mate. Be organised.
And go there and give them a few ideas. It'd be cool. Some money goes to the Skin Cancer and Player Hardship Foundation, so it's also a good cause.
It'll be good for them, and I hope
hopefully we score 12 tries and
hopefully
we get heaps.
But my whole thing would be, because my whole expectation would be is if I gave them an idea, I would want to see it, because I would be disappointed if they then didn't do the celebration.
Yeah,
So
but go to him and
No.
ask him. Have you got a
try July. That's what I'll be asking.
Because I guarantee if you ask him, if you say to someone like, "Oh, if you score a try, have you thought of what celebration they're going to say?" They're likely to put it back on you and say, "Oh, have you got one?
Have
for
you got
me?
one for me? Yeah, no. All right. I want,
See, mate, you got to think ahead.
mate. Think ahead. Think smart. No, you know what? I'm gonna try go to Blaze because I think if Blaze can score, or
You know who's definitely going to
Milky,
score?
Milky,
Yeah, or Casey.
Casey, yeah, yeah. So I'll go to him. It's like if you score, just do a try pass.
That's the least funny thing I've ever.
I think it's
that's
hilarious.
The least funny thing
I
I've
think
ever
it's
heard in my
hilarious.
life.
No, but yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'll be talking to the boys tomorrow. And hopefully, do you have a try celebration you would like me to ask them, or is there anything in your mind?
I think I love watching a player score a pretty cool try and give him the MJ shrug.
Like,
MJ shrug. But I did see. I would love someone to pay homage to Romy, and give him the old. You know when he used to score.
Yes.
I think one of the Tigers boys did it yesterday. I think it might have been Latu Fainu. I'm not entirely sure, but one of the boys did it yesterday. I was like, I'd love one of
the Panther boys,
one of
to
the
do
new
it.
boys, or like Nathan scored.
Blaze to do it. Imagine.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd
Like,
be
do you know what I
insane.
mean? Something like that. But
I might get him to do that one. One I was thinking of was like the LeBron James. If
it's one he hasn't done in 10 years.
yeah, if Nathan was to, he's not going to be there tomorrow, unfortunately. But if Nathan was to score, just to do the I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'll definitely talk to him tomorrow. That's going to be the plan. So yeah, it'll be exciting. Hopefully, there's more Try July celebrations this year.
Absolutely. Did you watch much of the games?
I watched a few of the games. I didn't watch much of the later games. So I didn't watch the Manly Rabbitohs one.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Dogs Broncos.
Dogs Broncos, mate.
Dogs got out to an early lead.
18-0. Took the 2, which statistically.
Yeah, Broncos ran them down. I think I know I tipped the Broncos. I think anyone with a brain tipped the Broncos this week. So
Mate.
I think it was the easiest tip of the round.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm gonna stand on business here. No, it wasn't.
Here we go.
They were
because they're your team.
No, because they were 18-0 up.
Because what Fred told you. Because Fred told you the Dogs were going to win.
When they were 18-0 up, don't tell me you were like, oh shit, like
100%.
yeah, you were exactly.
No, 100%. I was the Broncos going to win this.
Nah, you're lying to me.
From ball one, the Broncos.
Ball one.
The Dogs can't beat a top 8 team. We've seen that.
I think the Raiders
There it is.
Got him.
There it is. But yeah, no, I think
We'll see in September.
I think this
September
whole-
when you go
I-
up against the Raiders and they beat you by 30.
I just think this Lucky Galvin thing isn't working. I think it's just exploded their season, and
I think they've taken one step back, and the plan is to take 2 steps forward. That's the thing. I don't think they had the roster to win it, and they basically conceded that by the way that they've gone about this, and the fact they're like letting people like Reed and stuff go for Timu Mitch Kenny.
yeah,
It's
I think in my mind it's like they're taking one step back, but they're praying like this is on potential for 2 steps forward. This could be another step
they
back.
weren't going to win the comp, mate. They were constructed, they were not going to win the comp.
I disagree. I think they did have.
think
I think they were having a better chance because now they've purposely killed themselves this season.
That's now the 17th time in about 2 weeks
Mate,
you've
you
changed
say
your
this
mind.
every week, mate.
Yeah, because 1 minute it's the Storm,
I
then
t-
the Storm have been absolutely
No,
terrible.
I
and 5
said-
minutes later you're tipping them to win the comp. Now you're saying it's the Dogs. Who do you support?
Mate, the Penrith Panthers can't.
Well, that's who's going to win the
Mate,
comp. Relax.
we need to get this guy's eyes checked because he clearly can't see. Cleary can't see what is on my vest right now or on my jumper right now, which says Panthers member, mate. So yeah, look, I think I just think in general the Dogs have blown up their season this year. They were contenders, and now I don't think they are anymore. That is my take. And we can look back on 6 weeks down the road, and I'll have the same take.
I couldn't disagree more. I think they weren't contenders, and now they are.
Agree to disagree.
They've taken 1 step forward to potentially take 2 steps forward. 1 step back, take 2 steps forward.
I think they're putting a lot of faith on this 2-step forward thing that might trip them over because their shoes are tied up. Oh, hey, Fred. So, yeah, Broncos, they're looking pretty good right now.
For those who are wondering, Hectic Fred just walked in the room and Flaxxy shit himself because he said something Fred didn't say first.
What did I give him?
He just gave him 2 fingers up, and Flaxxy, look how much sweat's coming down his forehead now. He's realised Fred's in the room. He can only say words that Fred told him to say first. Yeah. The Raiders Dragons. What about the forward pass?
Mate, how bad
Tom
was that?
Brady.
Mate,
5 meters
that
backwards.
was so bad. That's the second time in a Dragons game.
You know what? Obviously conceded it was a horrendous pass. A horrendous call, sorry. How good is Tyrell Sloan going to be when Ivan gets his mitts on him?
Oh, 100%, mate. Where do you put him? Where do you put him?
Reserve grade. When the greatest you get the greatest coach ever, a kid with that much ability, he could be anything.
I think it's great that we have eyes on him. I just don't think as of right now he has a spot in the first grade side. And I've heard talks as well that we might be letting go of Dane Lowry.
Well, that's the spot he takes then.
Yeah.
But like Dane's probably at a position where he needs to go either, go take up a full-time fullback position at another club, or he's done his apprenticeship or go to the Super League.
I think he's only 26. Like, he's still young.
Yeah, but he's kind of done that period. He's done 2 sets of that apprenticeship behind Dylan now. Yeah. Like, I think if he just spent his whole career as a 14 backup fullback, like, he's gonna look up and he's gonna be 32 and he's gonna be like, far out. Like, I've left 40, 50 NRL games on the table here, maybe more. So I think it's like he's done his apprenticeship. We've got currently we've currently got the Australian and New South Wales fullback. So there's not necessarily a starting position for him. I don't think he's a winger. I don't think he's a centre. I don't think he's a 6. So he has to play fullback, but he's not going to play it at Penrith. So I think it's time we sort of let him. It's like with Critter and all that. We just let our fringe players fly the nest and go succeed in other places.
Look, as much as I think Crichton was a bad call, but yeah. How much?
Critter was a bad example, but
yeah.
people like Hosco and players that. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
I was only saying that because, by the way, I'm only saying that because it's a group full of Dogs fans. Yeah.
Oh my!
Joseph's throwing daggers at me over here.
That's insane. How much do you reckon we pay Sloan? Because I don't want to pay him too much if we're only going to have him.
They're
in
not going to
reserve
overpay
grade.
him. We don't overpay.
How much do the Dragons pay him right now? Do anyone know?
We don't.
Nothing.
Yeah, we won't overpay. He'll be coming for opportunity. He'll be coming to learn from the greatest coach. Yeah. That's it. That's essentially. And to be honest, I think somewhere like if I was him, that's what I'd be looking at. I wouldn't be going to somewhere where there's like
he'd be doing a Lockie Galvin by going to a good club.
Unproven coach or something. Like, I'd want to be going somewhere where there's like to Melbourne or to Penrith with a coach with a proven track record of getting like fringe players to succeed. Like people like Scotty Sorensens and things like that. Like, look how good he's going these days.
We don't have him next week, do we?
He wasn't even he didn't have a contract when we signed him. He was nowhere. He was playing Ron Massey Cup somewhere.
He was at Sharks beforehand.
Yeah, no, but he didn't have a contract. He just came to us on like a training trial. So and then has won 4 comps.
Yeah,
so that's the type of if I was Tyrell Sloan, that's what I'd be looking at. Going somewhere where he's going to fulfill his potential.
No, fair enough. Cowboys Storm. This was a closer game than I anticipated.
But you said the Storm have been absolutely terrible.
They have been. They won by 6 points, and they probably.
Did you see their team? They had Jerome Hughes was their only starter in the back line.
Mate, still, they should have won by more. You don't have Tom Dearden in that team. There's no Dearden.
They've still got Drinky. That's where all their points come from. The game probably summed up how it should have. As I said, the best part of this game was just the try celebrations. But,
that was the highlight of the game.
It's bye-week footy, mate. It's bye-week footy. But the Storm have been absolutely terrible, and Bizza should rest from Origin.
Talking about a terrible team, the Roosters.
Tigers. But how can you give... So you're saying that like the Roosters are missing a million players?
Both
teams were.
Tigers were missing Api Coruscant and Jerome Luai, who are arguably their 2 best players.
The Roosters are missing their 2 best players as well.
They have Tedesco. They have...
Yeah, but they didn't have Angus Crichton. They didn't have Connor Watson. They didn't have Lindsay Collins. They didn't have Spencer Laniu. Like, both teams had excuses. They probably... Robert Toyer.
I still think the loss...
Yeah.
Sam Walker doesn't count. I think he comes back next week.
Brandon Smith.
He doesn't care because he hasn't been there for weeks. But
Flaxxy's on fire today.
no, so I think Tigers losing.
Tigers
I think
were due, mate. The Tigers
they were due, but I think Tigers losing Luai and Api Coruscant, two of the best players other than Terrell May, is a bigger loss than what the Roosters have that much depth. They shouldn't have lost that game. They shouldn't have lost that game.
They probably should have won the game, but rugby league's a funny game, mate. Like, things can happen. Like, I just think you're carrying on about
I disagree.
Here. It's by-round footy. It was a game that was 28-26.
Shout out to the Tigers.
They
They did Penrith a favour.
The thing is, and this is what we're going to get to this, but this is what scares me about Wednesday night, is rugby league, funny things happen. Like the fact that, and it's all about narrative, right?
Yeah,
so
I know what
it seems like an absolute soap opera, rugby league, and like the fact that Adam Dewey and Benji apparently had a punch up at training and things like that, and then Dewey comes out and was one of the best players on the field. Like stuff like that goes on, and then now I'm looking at the Origin team and I'm like, Josh Papali'i's coming back. Rest in peace, Cameron Munster's old man. But
he's going to have a belt.
Munster's going to come with. Like, I'm scared to see what Munster's going to throw up on Wednesday as a New South Wales fan. But you're a cane toad, so regardless, Fred, you missed this. You need to watch this footage after. You should hear him carrying on earlier.
Oh.
It's embarrassing.
Shut up.
But yeah, so that's rugby league's a funny game, mates. As it's a soap opera, things like that happen, and yeah, that's the way it works in by-round footy,
mate. I don't know. Shout out to the Tigers. They helped Penrith out. They helped Penrith out with staying sixth. So that's all that I really care about from that game.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch the last game, so you're gonna have to.
Manly South, yeah. Manly played well the first half, and sort of put the cue in the rack. Tommy Turbo looks back though, which is good.
Mate, he's looking good in centre. Like
he's playing a roaming centre, so he's kind of sweeping around the back and different things. But yeah, he played really well. Mate, let's quickly just talk about Origin. As I said, we touched on it quickly. We obviously have our key players that are playing again. So we've got Dylan, Bizza, Nathan, Liam Martin, Yowie. All in the New South Wales team. As New South Wales fans, like, we're all behind them. We touched on it earlier. You think Bizza should rest from a decider. But anyway, what's your expectations? Can you give us a prediction?
Oh, as you said,
I want result. First try scorer, man of the match, and Wally Lewis medal.
All right. You're teeing me up here, I can tell you. Obviously, I'm going to have the Blues to win, first of all.
Well, it's not that obvious, but okay.
There's a narrative, as you said, there's narratives and storylines in rugby league, and it's all looking towards Queensland.
Score. What's the score?
Yeah, score. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think 18-12, 18-14 maybe. Like, it's going to be down to the last 10 minutes.
It's a prediction. We need a score.
18-14.
Okay.
New South Wales Blues to win. Just so
you
got that?
Who's your first try scorer?
First try scorer, Zach Lomax.
Who's your man of the match in Game 3?
This is where you're going to get me here. If Bizza plays, I'm going to go Bizza.
What do you mean if Bizza plays? And then, okay, so Bizza's your
So
Wally?
Bizza would be my Wally Lewis.
Okay, so he's your man of the match,
yes,
Kenny Lewis.
correct.
Okay.
What's yours?
Okay. I'll go the Blues to win. I'm going to say 26-12 because I purely can't see Zach kicking 5 goals. I'm going to go first try scorer. I'm going to say Jerome Luai. Man of the match, Latrell Mitchell. Wally Lewis, Brian Torr.
Yeah, fair enough. There we go.
Mate,
Hopefully we get these predictions right, and we'll find out next week if we're right or wrong.
Go Cane Toads, eh?
Mate.
Mate, we all good?
Mate, all good. Go the girls. They got the South next week. I think they win. They're going to have a good one.
Are you going to the Para game?
I'm going to the Panthers Para game. I actually go to games like a real supporter would go to.
I told you, man, I get too nervous. I can't.
I'm
going Origin. You going Origin?
No, I'm streaming Origin.
Oh, I'm a real supporter. That's why.
Who's going to more games this year?
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.